What is going on, everybody? Today we will be reacting to a Dr. Trey video about the Switch 2. Oh, how joyous, right? Star Wars Outlaws had like that seat edition. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, buddy.
What it do, bruh? Talk of the town.
Let's skip this shitty intro.
Alright, so I feel like this is becoming a thing. And this is
What
this is
that
it.
what that you guys are getting shitty old versions of games running worse and costing more? Yeah, I feel like that is a thing with Switch 2 as well.
This is getting kind of silly at this point. So we know what's been happening with the backlash.
But now you guys are getting, not only are you guys getting the shitty old game, but you guys are getting a, well, what I meant to say was, not only are you guys getting an old game, but you're getting a shitty old game. This game wasn't even well received when it came out, and now that you guys are having a worse performing version that costs more, obviously, because it just launched, is absolutely hilarious. So, thank you for the good material.
That Digital Foundry has been having regarding the Nintendo Switch 2. Some of the assumptions that they made about the Switch 2 they ended up being wrong. How they repeatedly still try to say,
Who cares? It's a shitty old game. This is like a year or 2 year old game. And not to mention that, yes, it is bad actually, because like I've seen the ugly ass early PS3 looking ass rocks that people had. Like they had a comparison between the Series X and PS5 version, and even though those versions are also really poorly performing, right? Because obviously it's Ubisoft, and nobody knows how to fucking optimize to save their life anymore. The Switch 2 version made those versions look detailed and amazing in comparison. Seriously. Like, don't even try to play that shit with me. The Switch 2 version still looks like an ugly-ass PS3 game.
Switch 2 is PS4 level experience. Even
It is not PS4 level experience.
they're getting massive backlash. Trust me, they're getting a lot of backlash.
Well, from a bunch of, like, loser versions in their 40s who still celebrate Mario's cock in their mouth? No. Yeah, no. It's only massive in terms of you losers, you loser Nintendo fanboys, jumping down their throats for daring to tell the truth. Much like anyone else that dares to tell the truth about Nintendo. You guys just try to swarm them, right?
On this, but for some reason, they're still keeping it up, and it's kind of strange to me. So, like I'm showing you here before, they had before, is a 1080p too much for Switch 2? And then now today is Star Wars Outlaws too big for Switch 2? Isn't even out yet. And they're telling...
That's a fairly decent point, actually. That's a fairly decent question. What's wrong with that question? Your shitty Nintendo Switch 2 barely handled a dogshit Donkey Kong game that looks like it's for autistic children. What's the problem with them asking that question? You guys barely, like, at one segment, I forgot what it was, but it was said that the frame rate for the Donkey Kong game dropped down below 30. Like, are you fucking kidding me? This ugly-ass Donkey Kong game that looks worse than a PS4 game is dropping down to 30 on your brand new $500 fucking system. Like, yeah, that's a pretty decent port. Question. And not to mention that this game has been poorly performing on every console. So, it's like, yeah, that's a pretty decent question to ask, actually. Would it be too big for the Switch 2? That's a question I would be asking, too.
you that, this game may be too big for Switch 2 based on literally...
Well, it definitely is too high of a price, right? Don't you losers still have to pay $60? Maybe, I think probably still $70, actually. Because they know you loser Nintendo fanboys will buy that shit. Even though it runs worse, looks worse, and plays worse. Hey, whatever, it's for the Switch 2, right? The thing that can't even run games as good as a Steam Deck, apparently. So, yeah.
Literally like 6 seconds of footage from an unfinished game that they've literally told you this game won't even come out until September. So what are we doing here?
Yeah, why are you making a video about this? What are we doing here? Like, Again, I just love how these Nintendo fanboys, they know their system is a giant walking L. Well, it's funny because like they could walk around with it. So yeah, technically that is true, right? It's like a $500 piece of shit. It's actually $450, bro. No one's gonna get the $450 model. It's $500 with Mario Kart or possibly any game. Assuming that they won't increase the price too. So yeah, who knows? But anyways, this $500 piece of shit that costs as much as a Steam Deck, like really, especially with the memory that it has, only 256 gigabytes. I'm surprised no one's talking about that. By the way, it's funny how they didn't even bother giving you a fucking terabyte of memory like their competitors did. The Series S did. The Series X. That's what I meant. The Series X did. PlayStation almost did. For some reason, they only gave you 800 something. Yeah, I don't know. 825, I think. But yeah, that's still better than 256. And I just love how no one's talking about that. I love that. That's hilarious to me. Man.
Why are we saying what will and won't?
At least the Steam Decks that are around like, what, $500, $600 give you the 1 terabyte edition. The 1 terabyte edition. Crazy, right? Damn.
Run on a system that isn't out. On a game that isn't finished, based on 5 to 6 seconds of footage of a game that isn't a launch game. It's not coming out for 5 months. Like, what are we doing here?
What are you doing here as a 40-year-old man, or however old this dumb Nintendo fanboy is? What are you still doing here simping for a shitty piece of plastic? What are you doing here, dude? What about, let's just forget about the system. What are you doing here, bro? Like, grow up. Get out of this stage, man. He's still doing the same shit that he's been doing since I was 15, bro. The first time I saw his content when I was like 14, 13, actually. Not 15. Like, what are you doing, dude? You're still over here console warring as a grown-ass man. Bruh. I don't know what to do anymore. And before you losers in my comments, like there are some people who say this shit, right? Who say like, you shouldn't really judge people. Like, let them like what they like. I'm not going to if they're over here, like, defending a shitty corporation. And that's affecting me. That's affecting everybody who wants that said shitty corporation to get better. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make fun of them profusely. Okay? Like that bald loser, what's his name? The hell is his name? I forgot. Like the one that looks like a fucking egg with a beard. Yeah, that one. Like when he had like pictures of video game characters and video game shit on his wall instead of his family, his friends, or whatever. Yeah, absolutely, I made fun of him. And there was an idiot in my comments being like, "Oh well, why are you making fun of that, bro? That's going too far." No, the fuck it ain't. It's not going far at all. That's telling of their character. What are you talking about? The hell? You think that I have anything on my walls? No, I don't. I really don't. But if I would have myself as a kid on the wall, or a picture, a picture of myself as a kid on the wall. I would have a picture of someone who's inspiring me to like to become what I want to become, right? Like say Satoru Iwata. I want to become a legendary, amazing developer like him someday. So I want to put his picture on my wall if I were to have any picture on my wall. It's like, what are you guys doing? Man, whatever.
And even trying to guess based on the pixel count of the resolution. How are you pixel counting the resolution on this? It's not even a full screen.
Didn't they say it, you fucking moron? And not to mention that it's not really that hard to tell when the Switch 2 could only handle a certain resolution, or less, if you know what I mean. Like, at best, this fucking thing can handle, natively at least, 1080p. 1080p. But obviously, with an open world game like this, it's gonna be even less. Like, let's just be realistic. DLSS, or DSSL, or whatever the fuck it's called, right? DLSS, or whatever the fuck that the dumb Switch 2 fanboys are gonna talk about, or the Nintendo fanboys are gonna talk about. Listen, you fucking retards. That thing doesn't even work well for PC. Okay? Excuse me. It doesn't even work that well for PC. It didn't work that well for the PS5 Pro, obviously, because you see games running worse on the PS5 Pro than they do on the original PS5 and by extension Series X. So what the fuck makes you think that this is the same, that, the Switch 2 is clear to this? What makes you think that? What makes you think that a shitty-ass garbage system that's barely as powerful as a PS4 is going to make that shitty thing work? What made you think that, bro? That's what I never understood about people. Whatever, I'm just repeating myself.
It's just some it's just some footage that they mapped onto a fake Switch 2 in the middle of the screen, and you're pixel counting that.
Oh, well, okay, well, maybe they shouldn't show that. They're basing it off the footage that's shown, you dumb fuck. Oh my god. Yo, focus on growing some hair, bro. Like, seriously, stop worrying about what Digital Foundry is rightfully judging the game that's being shown, you dumb retard. My god. Oh my god. Oh, this hurts.
It's like, talk about not learning your lesson.
Oh, the picture of Mario thinking. What, is he thinking how he got cucked by Peach? Yeah, when Mario confirmed that Mario just a friend for Peach, you know? Is he thinking how badly Nintendo has been treating him recently? Just remastering his games and shit instead of giving him good, unique experiences? Is that what that Mario thinking picture is for? How Nintendo literally friend zoned him, essentially? Yeah, okay.
And not
He's not in zone 1. He's not in zone 2. He's in the friend zone. Good job, Nintendo and Mario. Good job.
reading the room.
Star Wars Outlaws was a visual blockbuster when it arrived last year, applying the ray-traced goodness of the Snowdrop engine to the famous sci-fi franchise. But it only landed on current-gen consoles and PC.
Yeah, your Switch 2 version ain't gonna look like that, bros. You know? Nintendo bros. It's not gonna look like that, so don't even think about it.
Requiring some decent hardware capabilities to run effectively. But the game has just been released on the Switch 2, which has substantially weaker specs. So how does this adventure fare on Nintendo's power-sipping hybrid? Conversely, there are plenty of cases where the lighting looks similar, and even a few where Switch 2 scores a win over Series X.
Yeah, because the game looked like shit to begin with. Wow, congratulations. They're able to make the game sort of look the same. No shit. Again, this is not really a demanding game, but because it was like, on the Series X and PS5 or whatever, they seem to, like, be really lazy with it, you know? And this hasn't started ever since, like, this has only started in this 9th generation, mostly. Mostly, you know? Because for the most part, in the beginning of the PS4 and Xbox One generation, we did actually get a lot of amazing games that ran fine, right? We really did. It really started, this whole shit really started when the PS5 and Series X hit the shit fan, you know? The PS5 and Series X shit hit the fan, whatever you want to say. That's what it that's what I'm observing. My god. Sorry, this guy's making me stupid. So, this game never even looked amazing to begin with. Wow, they sort of optimized it for the Switch, I guess, a little bit. Cool. It still doesn't look as good, doesn't run as good, and is more expensive. What's the benefit here? I could just play this on my Steam Deck and get a better performance anyways, or get the performance I want at least, out of what I say, you know? Oh, I want, low settings and 60 to 90 frames. I could get that with the Steam Deck OLED. Well, I don't know about this shitty game, but with a lot of games that I have in my whole library, I could do that. I could get that. You can't do that with your Switch 2. So technically, I could run games better than your shitty Switch 2s. So, yeah.
Take the submissive sign, for instance. There's a subtle shadow beneath the Switch 2 sign, which is missing on Series S. That trend continues with the game's RT reflections. In a few instances, the Switch 2 version of the game appears to have some specular superiority over Series S. In this hangar, for instance, all this reflective detail basically only exists in screen space on Series S, but on Switch 2...
Yeah, so it is what I thought, right? They did optimize it more for the Switch 2 a little bit. Because, hey, I guess they're trying to find an excuse to make you guys buy it for full price. Whatever.
Note how there's no holes in the reflection around K, and how the reflections of the barrels persist even when off-screen. Here we see a relatively smooth metal surface, reflecting some fairly clear pinpoints of light on Switch 2. Series S has reflections as well.
Yeah, and how badly does it run then? Because, we all know that the Switch 2 can't handle shit. It really can't handle detailed anything. So how badly does it run? when stuff is actually happening.
But they're very diffuse in comparison. You walk through Miragana City, these differences become obvious. Switch 2 has smooth metals that reflect environmental detail more sharply. On materials that appear glossy on all platforms, sometimes Switch 2 will have...
Oh, and by the way, is this docked or is it portable mode? That's the most important part, because yeah, bitch, I'm not going to play my Switch 2 at all docked. If I do ever get that piece of shit, which I won't. But if I were to get it, I'd want to play it portably. So how badly does it look portably instead of docked? Because I think this is docked. I don't know.
Obvious brighter reflections, and the image is sharp. When docked, Outlaws uses DLSS with DRS, with typical resolutions.
Oh, DLSS. DLSS. Oh, the magic DLSS, man. Oh, thank God. Well, hey, hey, DLSS. Why don't you go in the same room as the PSSR, right? Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. You're not gonna make it anywhere. Games are still gonna run like shit, even with your ass on the Switch 2. Yeah.
Around 720p and an output res of 1440p. Series S, in contrast, operates between 720p and 1080p internally, with an output at 1440p using FSR. Both look equally sharp and are relatively stable in static shots.
I thought you were tired of seats, but apparently not.
This dude really thinks that have that seat is still like a good line. Bro, get some goddamn new material. Have that seat. What are you, fucking a shitty wannabe Chris Hansen? Dude, with your Nintendo fanboy ass, I feel like Chris Hansen would be asking you to have that seat. If you know what I mean. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna call anyone that just because they're a Nintendo fanboy, but you know, I will call them stupid, because that's what they are. That's what they are. My God. I thought you were tired of having seats, but apparently not, huh? And I thought you were tired of saying that dog shit line that was never cool to begin with. Like, you're saying it over Nintendo plastic, bro. You're saying it over dog shit Nintendo games and Nintendo versions of games. You're not cool. Stop it. This game's gonna have frame rate drops below 30, and it probably will, though. Have you played it, Dr. Trey? Have you played it? Because it seems like you didn't. You know? Have you played the damn game on the Switch 2? Because I feel like it will have frame drops out the ass, especially how it looks. Absolutely. Yeah. So, and if you think fucking DLSS does not count. It does not count. That thing generates like a whatchamacallit? It generates fake frames. That's not real frames. And although like maybe it's not as bad in single player, in multiplayer that will be a bitch. So although I don't think this game is multiplayer, though I could be wrong. I don't think it has a multiplayer. The thing is that like the fake frames are still noticeable. Okay? They really are. Oh boy. Oh man. And you gotta love how he doesn't have any music here. Like, okay, bro.
Gameplay and ship sequences. It's remarkably consistent, without any frame pacing problems or other gremlins. Plus, some of the game's menus run at 60 FPS, usually getting there or just slightly falling short.
Yes, menus do tend to run at a stable frame rate. Congratulations. Like, yeah, that's not exactly a big deal.
Options are few and far between. This section of Miragana seems good for repeatable...
Oh, so the game runs at 30. So the game runs at 30. Congratulations. Wow, aren't you guys happy that in a shitty system that released in 2025, you're still running games at 30 frames per second? Have fun. Have fun.
Substantial FPS drop if you sprint through it, but it's an isolated problem.
And again, isn't it docked in this mode? I don't know, I could be wrong, but isn't it docked? So it runs at 30 docked? What about portable?
Other areas of Miragana are fine, and the other cities I sampled also hit 30 FPS without issue. Namely, more
He has a Google image of a shitty cartoon chair.
efficient RT and machine learning acceleration allow it to punch above its weight in key areas. It's no longer the case that a Nintendo port is just a steep linear downgrade from other contemporary hardware. Those factors, plus a colossal amount of work from Ubisoft Red Links, Berlin, and Massive, help to make Outlaws the most impressive Switch 2 port to date.
I will say, like, it doesn't look as bad as I thought, but again, oh my god, this fucking dork over here. A Switch 2 would change game development forever. Wow, a fucking game able to run at 30 on your 2025 system? Wow, game changing, dude. No way. This guy's... This guy is the most dorkiest Nintendo fanboy ever. Like, basically one of the most. He's trying to make himself really seem like he's a lot smarter than he really is. You're not. Wow, they made it run at 30 frames per second. At best, guys. At best. With a shitty frame rate, like a fake frame rate generator. Really. That's your celebration. DL maybe it goes over 30. I don't care. I don't know. The fact is that without your shitty little fake generation frame rate generation thing, your game runs at 30 in 2025? Really? That's game changing to you? Man. Alright, I'm done with this guy. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, guys. Do all the good stuff. And yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been uploading recently. I'm not gonna lie, some of it is laziness. Like, it really is. But, man, it's just also, like, I don't really know what to do, you know? Like, sometimes. So, don't worry, though. I have a couple of videos to react to. And, yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.